Conservative MPs seem to be growing in confidence when it comes to telling the Prime Minister that they're not prepared to go along with a bill that essentially threatens to break the law, international and domestic law, I think. I'm hoping to speak to David Allen Green, who Louise mentioned earlier, an earlier caller, whose analysis of these legal minefields is exceptional generally and will be in this case as well. But I don't make any apology for struggling with this. I think we've spent enough time together over the last few years for you to know that my sincerity is complete. I don't know what to do because I don't want to talk about Brexit anymore. It is over. The battle was lost. It is obviously something I think we're going to regret for a very, very long time. But that doesn't matter anymore. This is why Keir Starmer is, in my view, quite correct to resist any attempts by Boris Johnson to bring Brexit back into the bear pit. You know, what was really interesting about last week's PMQs was that it seemed as if Johnson had prepared for Brexit-based bashing of the Labour leader, while the Labour leader saw it coming and didn't let him. He wants to talk about coronavirus, which is what we should all really be focused upon at the moment. But the only way in which you can discuss this astonishing decision by a Conservative Prime Minister to seek to tear up a treaty with which he won the last election, the only way you can discuss that is, I think, through the lens of Brexit. Because I look you in the eye, and I know that if you voted for it, you didn't vote for this. But I also know that some of you can't quite admit that yet. And that seems to me to be the only question here. Not in terms of the country, I don't think we matter anymore, but in terms of the parliamentary party, nobody, if you had said to them in December, oh, by the way, this withdrawal agreement is going to entail a breach of international law, are you okay with that? None of them would have said yes. They would all have said, incorrectly, as events has demonstrated, they would all have said, don't be ridiculous. They would all have denied the possibility of what has now happening. That's not a criticism. That's just a description. So you would say, not a Good Friday Agreement, customs union, can't possibly, yada, yada. And they wouldn't say, oh, don't worry, it's fine, we can throw Northern Ireland under a bus. They would simply say, that's not true, James. Whether it was Jacob Rees-Mogg live on this programme or whether it was, Bob in Ongar ringing me in from the M25. It would all be, that's not true. Not that. It is true and I'm happy with it. And now it's come true and people are queuing up to say that they're happy with it. That's the thing I find enduringly fascinating. And I find it fascinating in full knowledge that the war is over. It's so bizarre that the peace is arguably messier than the war, because the peace involves the Prime Minister telling you that the treaty you voted for in December of last year is so unspeakably awful that they have to break the law to get out of it. And that is, how many times have I sought to evolve the Emperor's New Clothes story by talking about the proximity of your nose to his buttocks or whatever it may be, but I've got nothing now. There it is. What did you win the election with? The oven-ready deal. How's that going for you? It's so awful, we've got to break the law to get out of it.